Hey guys, my name is Mena.
I'm Missan.
And welcome to Minutes with Eminem. Today, we will be talking about one of the shows we really enjoy. I feel like we say that every time. We enjoy a lot of TV. So this week, episode time, we will be talking about Never Have I Ever. So we're not actually going to talk about the whole show. There's so many features of the show that we like, plus another season is coming out next year. Fingers crossed, Mindy. Don't take too long. We will be talking about Ben versus Paxton. So we do not have the same opinion on who Devi should end up with. Okay, first of all, Devi should end up with no one. Ideally, she should graduate high school and not be tied to any boy. But this is a Mindy Kaling show, and you know we've seen how things played out in other shows. So statistically, anyways, this if you've never watched Never Have I Ever, it's about an Indian American girl in high school who is dealing with the grief after her dad died and figuring out how to be a teenager. She's obsessed with boys. I mean, that's basically it. That's basically it. That's the show. There are two men. Don't know why I said that. There are two boys.
I mean, there's a grown man on the show.
There's one boy and one man that she is picking between. So on the first hand, there's Paxton, who is this hot senior who looks amazing. Everyone on the show is just gobsmacked by how gorgeous he is. I mean, he's okay, I guess.
I know. And then there is Ben, who is this like rich white kid who is like very nerdy and like always like teases Devi, who's our main character, and you know they always have these whole competitions and like debates on like who's better and who's smarter, and like, you know, it's insulting to a degree and it's offensive to another degree, but that's their thing, you know.
So those are the two guys she has to pick between. Side note, Paxton is fully a 30-year-old man. Anyone with eyes can see that. Mindy, we're all asking you, why did you cast him?
Do better, Mindy, please.
That being said, I'm Team Paxton.
And I'm Team Ben.
I think that when you watch the show and have the context, it doesn't make sense to root for Ben when Paxton is right there showing consistent character development.
Oh, consistent.
There was a bit of a fumble in the second season, but generally...
Okay, I feel like her story with Ben is just more believable to me because, you know, they first started as rivals, and Mena knows this, but you guys don't know this. But you would find out as you keep watching like all and listening to all our episodes that I am a huge fan of the Best Friends or Friends to Lovers trope.
Okay.
And yes, you can argue that they were not best friends.
They were enemies to lovers.
Yeah, sorry, yeah. Enemies to lover. Like,
what, you like
best friends
to lover?
yeah, I love enemies to lovers. I love it so much.
Oh my god. I tolerate
to a certain degree, I really like it because, you know, to me, I feel like hate is a very strong emotion.
Oh my god.
And, you know, as human beings, it's very hard for us to differentiate.
It's not hard.
It's hard because, like, you feel a lot of strong feelings towards this person, and you may think you hate them, but really you're obsessed with them. And that's not a good thing, but I'm just throwing it out there that they had this whole rivalry, and they were, like, their nemesis. You know, but in reality, Ben pushed her to be better, and she did the same for him. And you know, after a while, he realized that he really liked her. I can't remember the point where
we're going to talk about this, but I just all these light jests that Miss San is referring to, these were cold-blooded bullying interactions, and I don't
that they both participated.
One was significantly worse than the other.
Did she not make fun of him for being Jewish?
When the Nazi comment came after he mocked her for being paralyzed after her father's death, after he implied that she was quote unquote unfuckable, which it's just, why would you say to someone who was coming back to school after?
Right. But after all that, was he not a sweet boy? A sweet boy who wanted nothing but the best.
Okay, first of all, fudge that. Let's start with that.
Can you see what we are facing here?
So we're gonna go.
You would choose abs over
I will choose a kind, consistent, considerate person who has shown that he has the wherewithal to look back at his behavior and do better. That's what I choose, not regressive Ben. But we're gonna go season by season and talk about why we think someone is better or worse for Devi, and that's what we're talking about this week. So yay! So starting with season 1, the premise of the season. Devi wants to lose her virginity to Paxton and has lied about it to the entire world. That's basically the crux of the issue. I just want to start with Team Paxton. She approaches him and says, "Hey, you know what? Let's have sex." And he kindly goes, "Sure," because he's Paxton. He can sleep with anyone he wants to. He doesn't have to say yes to the weird Indian girl who couldn't walk until yesterday. He could have been like, "You're really strange. Ew, go away." But he's like, "You know what? I'm going to do this for you because it's what you want." And throughout the season...
Oh, because he's just bored. And
throughout the season,
very different.
Even when she says she wants to do it and then doesn't, he never pushes her. He never implies that she has to. He's very like, "Okay, well, you're kind of weird, but we don't have to have sex, even though that's why you approached me, because I'm a chill dude." That is Paxton throughout the first season. And, there's other stuff, we meet his sister, which is great. But I just think that starting place, when we start with Paxton versus, let's start with Ben. Tell us about the beginning interactions with Ben. How was that?
I have already said it was tumultuous, but it's enemies to lovers. I don't know what else you want me to tell you.
You can't spend...
He sees her. He knows her. He knows when she's down. Paxton's just like, "Oh, cool, bro. See ya."
Because they didn't have anything in common. He was a grade above her living his life.
They don't have anything in common, but you want her to be with him. Why?
Because now they have things in common. Now they're friends.
No, they don't.
But they're friends. They have fun conversations. They laugh together. They have inside jokes.
3 seasons later, but okay.
Ben spent multiple years bullying and mocking Devi, and you might say they do it to each other, but it's very clear that Ben was the original antagonist because it's not just Devi he picks on. He also kind of does little snipes to her friends too, but they just they're not in his focus as much.
Fair enough. Paxton only just ignored her completely.
He wasn't in, so you used to, when you were in SS3, you were looking at SS2 boys. He was a grade above living his life. He didn't think about Devi.
Fair enough.
And when we think about things that happened in the first season, Devi gets attacked by a coyote when she's drunk because she's insane. Devi is a crazy person, but you know what Paxton does? He carries her off the ground. He takes her to the hospital. He says, "I'm gonna make sure you're okay," because that's what a good guy does.
Okay, my actual real reason why I'm Team Ben, it's not because I don't really believe in her and Paxton being happy together, but I feel like with all the issues that we've seen Devi struggle with, and we see this very clearly in season 3 when we get there, I feel like she looks at Ben as her equal, and he's not someone that she has been pining after for years, and she doesn't look at him like, "Oh, why is he with me, and why do I deserve to be with him?" And I feel like it would be, just like they are very similar people. They have the same jokes, and they've been basically going at, they have conversations that are interesting and that are deep. And with Paxton, she plays cool video games and she makes out. And that doesn't mean there isn't any sexual tension between her and Ben or anything, but it's just I see it working out more in terms of they are on the same level. He has been friends with her for, frenemies.
Friends is a strong word.
Frenemies with her for quite a while. And I feel like the moment that he started having real feelings with her, he was always sure in it, and he never really wavered or made her think, "Oh, does he really like me or does he not like me?"
I don't like you saying made.
Not made her think, but unfortunately, that's just what Paxton represents to her. That's not who Paxton is as a person, but Paxton represents this I'm not sure if she actually likes him for who he is. I think she likes him for what he represents. He's this most popular guy in school. Everyone loves him, and I feel like if she can be with him, it's I'm not this nerdy girl anymore. I have achieved my high school dreams, and I just don't like the way she sees it that way, which is why I'm not really sure about her and Paxton.
The thing is, my solution to that is Devi actually listening in therapy and growing and realizing that no one is quote unquote too good for her.
That's the solution to most things, right? If we could all go to therapy, wouldn't we not?
But the solution to Devi and Ben being together is also them getting therapy, because Ben needs to deal with his daddy issues. The way he lashes out is not okay. I feel like we're done with season 1. We're gonna go to season 2. I'm just gonna point out that I'm really happy that Miss Anne did not attack any of Paxton's behavior in season 1, even though she had very good points that she could have. But moving on to season 2.
I have good points, but then again, like I think that's what I like about the show, like especially when they do like the individual episodes, they really like go into their background, and you know, like you start to understand the way they are, and ultimately everyone there is like a good person that's just kind of trying to be better and trying to like make good of whatever situation they found themselves in. And like you say that about Paxton, like I say that about Ben. So
well, you might try and be fair, but I don't do that. Ben had a girlfriend in season 1 when he was trying to kiss my good girl, Devi, and that again to me speaks to bad behavior. But hey, moving on to season 2.
Okay, the girlfriend is like the epitome of like the characters I hate, and like characters that should not exist in TV shows. I hate when they do these whole like bubblehead, I don't know, left from right or anything characters. I'm like, why do you exist? Why do you have friends? And why are these people with you? And why are you like, I've not met, well, maybe that's just me, but me personally, I haven't met anyone like that, and I just feel like we should just stop putting these characters in these TV shows. But yeah, that's besides the point. But I feel like that is like one of the things that the writers wanted us to like justify, like, oh well, you know, compared to his bubblehead girlfriend who's like all boobs and, you know, doesn't really take care of him and doesn't even acknowledge him. I guess now he's looking out. But if you looked at it plainly, yes, he did have a girlfriend, and he's like, whatever, I'm gonna go with Devi, which sucks.
Yeah. Also, it's an easy villain to have a caricature character. Like you said, Ben and Paxton and all the other main characters are pretty nuanced. We get to figure out why they are the way they are, and you know, we get a little bit of digging deep into their heads. So it's easier to have characters that are just like two-dimensional and awful to be like, this is the bad guy, this is Ben's girlfriend, and also Davy's bully. But all that being said, Ben was dating someone and it was bad for him to cheat. Anyway, season 2. Basically, season 2 is both boys confess their feelings to Devi, and the season starts out with her two-timing both of them. Then they find out, and her kind of dealing with the fallout of that, and then it ends with her getting with Paxton, and with Ben getting with the other Indian character who's introduced, Anissa. And I just feel like that entire chain of things, first of all, the person that Devi's wanted has been Paxton. Like when the two of them, okay, she was two-timing the both of them, which was horrible behavior. By the way, I just want to point out that even though we're trying to argue about who Devi should be with, we both agree that Devi just has so much work she needs to do on herself. Like, her therapist should be getting paid more than whatever she's getting paid right now. But basically, when the two characters find out that she's cheating on both of them, there's a character she goes after, and it's Paxton. She never wanted Ben as much as she wanted Paxton, and I think that's important too. Like, I think she shouldn't get with the second guy because, oh, he's more like her or more attainable. I think she should be with the guy that she's always wanted. I think we should have more kind of, not aspirational, but just like the idea that someone can't be with someone because they're too nerdy or they're too weird. And I like the idea of Devi getting over that in her own head, which I think happened a lot in season 3.
Now I'm remembering a few things, and I'm going to go back to season 1.
Wow!
I am going to go back to season 1 because yes, one of my main selling points for Ben was, and I've said it before, how much he knows her, and where did she run to? When her mom upset her, where did she run to Paxton so that he will now be there with his vomiting friend beside? They say, oh, do you want to play a video game? That's how you comfort me. Oh, I didn't know you were sad. What's going on with your mom or whatever? I don't know. Like, I don't know. But she ran to Ben, who housed her, who fed her, who gave her good advice. Go and talk to your mom. Go and bury your father. You know, he brought her friends back together. Paxton did not even know that her friends were.
No, that's good. One, first of all, Paxton didn't know, so how can he be wrong for not doing what he didn't know? But number 2, yes, she went to Ben's house. Ben's house that is always empty because his parents are not there with his plenty food. Will he go to Paxton's house and say, oh, hi, Mr. and Mrs.
If Paxton is my boyfriend who I love, I would go no matter the house.
But they weren't dating at that point.
Oh, fair enough.
In fact, he
But
was.
they were both friends. They were both on the
They were
friendship
friends,
level.
but it was after he found out that
But
he
it
has
just, the fact
lied
that she
about.
felt more comfortable going to Ben at that
Yeah,
moment.
because Ben had no reason to be upset with her. It's not Ben that she told everybody that in multiple schools that she was sleeping with and all of that Paxton had to find out and forgive her and say, okay, we can make it work again. It wasn't Ben that had to.
Yeah,
work
but
through
I
those
think
things.
it's worth it to note that Ben knew a lot more about the intricacies of the things she was going through in her life, and with Paxton, it was just very surface level to me. And the fact that it took his sister saying, hey, snap out of it, like, if you like this girl, go after her.
How is that different from in season 2 when Ben is with Anissa and then Davy's friend goes, oh yeah, she would have picked you, and he's suddenly like, oh, I had a chance. All of them.
Yeah, that also sucks.
Yeah, so.
But I'm just saying, like, as of season 1, like, what I saw and why I was Team Ben, like, at the end of season 1 was basically me saying, like, he was there for the things that mattered, and he drove her to the place, and at the end of the day, like, he never really said, hey, like, I love you or whatever. He was just gonna pine, to be honest, and she was one who now kissed him, knowing fully well that she has unfinished business with Paxton.
I mean, that's Davy's thing. Though.
But I mean, he drove her there and he was gonna go back.
I mean, I guess he drove her. If you see it as a positive thing, you could have just let her take an Uber. You were there doing your 10 minutes, a mile driving while she was screaming at you. It's okay.
He is a responsible adult.
But okay, sure. We both have our points for season 1. For season 2, I just want to start with Devi actually changed Paxton's whole life. My guy was supposed to go to university on a swimming scholarship, and because of him, he's now trying to read book in his senior year. I would never.
So you should not read.
I would never forgive, not in a million years, because like that could have ruined his whole life. Like things worked out in season 3, we know that, but that was like bad. But
that
anyway,
was horrible. And you know what? Paxton is a saint for going back and speaking to her. I don't even know. Is it that?
And that's why I think it's worth mentioning that you might say it's like it's surface level, but Paxton clearly had deep feelings for Devi.
Really? You think so?
Because I won't, like, it's not even just, let's remove the swimming thing, even though I think that's a big thing. Embarrassing me in front of our school twice in a really big way, especially when, like, I'm a senior and I'm about to graduate. Like, this random junior girl shouldn't be this big to me. But he keeps, like, going back to her. And even when he's like, oh, we're going to be friends before they fall back in love and everything, it's very much like he enjoys having her in his life in any shape or form, even though...
I mean, look at his friends and look at the people around him.
Stop. Look, in season 3, didn't you learn to appreciate his friends?
That was too late, Mindy. That was quite late because I had already been like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? I mean, like, if I don't know, like, to me it just felt like I didn't look at it like, oh my god, Paxton really likes this girl. I saw it as like she is very intriguing and very different from what he's used to, so like he's quite bored with his life as of this moment, and he's like, you know what, like, this is interesting to me.
And that brings me back to season 3, where basically, he apologizes to every girl he's ever hooked up with because he thinks it's the right thing to do because of Devi. Like, I think Paxton was genuinely really moved by Devi as a person, and it made him want to be a better person. And I didn't get that as much with Ben. Like, I think Ben wants to be a better person for his own reasons at some points, because sometimes he clearly doesn't want to be, and that's good. You know what, it's actually healthier to want to be a better person for yourself and not because of someone else.
Yeah.
But when I think about the way Devi has impacted their lives, I think with Paxton going to college, wanting to be a better man, all those things because of Devi, it's just so much more impressive.
Yeah, but that's unfair because, like, she ran after Paxton and
because she wanted him.
No, I agree. She did want him. Like, I'm not fighting you. Like, I'm agreeing. Like, you thought you're coming here with like some fight energy, which is already sus because you know deep down it's Ben. Anyways, as I was saying, she went after him. So Ben spent like half of season 2 nursing his wounds, and like she spent like all that time with Paxton. So obviously we've gotten to see her impact Paxton's life a lot more than how with Ben. And even in season 3, they weren't really in each other's lives at that point. So I don't think that's a fair point to make. Who knows what Ben would have
But I have
done
two responses to that. One being, like, she spent a couple months with Paxton and it made such a big difference. Her and Ben have been in the same grade for years.
Paxton had a lot of development. It's like, she taught you to read. Wow.
no, child. I'm saying, like, it was a lot of development.
I mean, there was a lot there. Anybody could have spent time with Paxton and made his life better.
But it was Devi. I'm just saying, like, her and Ben had a prior relationship that didn't show that much result. The other thing I was going to say is that somehow Ben has had more love interest on the show than Paxton has. And that's
because he was single and hurt.
There's nothing wrong with him being single, but his behavior and his attitudes towards both the girls he's dating at those times and towards Devi while he's with these other girls just aren't good for me. Like, I just don't like him being with Anissa but secretly wanting to be with Devi, especially with Anissa being Devi's friend. Like, that's just so bad.
Yeah, that's messed
like
up.
And like even now with the art girl that he literally just said we're gonna go meet afterwards, like a season 3, he's like, oh, we're gonna go meet, haha, and now he's about to have sex with Devi, which is, you know, he didn't know she was gonna
knocked
fall.
on his door.
But I don't.
I said, come on, meet me in 50 years.
Really, I guess I really don't like that. And plus with his girlfriend in season 1 versus Paxton, whose only other love interest was the person that he was dating after him and Devi broke up this season, the girl that was apparently kind of like he wanted to be with her for vibes because he didn't want to be invested.
I just feel like Mindy and the writers conveniently. Did you see that long line of people who was apologizing? Which time did they have to do that? Which time?
One a day you can do like.
So they didn't show us. Why are you saying you didn't have any love like?
No. But like no, I mean on the show, like in a serious committed relationship. Like I'm not talking about hookups. Like girls that he actually dated, and the only one we saw was. Like maybe,
and that's more impressive, but he has 1,000 hookups.
No, I'm not talking about the number of people he's dated. I'm talking about his behavior while he's dating them.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah, because like, and with that girl, he gave it a shot when he realized he wanted something serious. But at least he went in very like, I want something casual and chill. And then when he realized that he wanted something deeper, he tried to have a deep conversation with her. They did that thing again where they made her lightheaded.
I would definitely say that we saw a lot of growth in Paxton throughout season 1 to 3, and that was very rewarding to see because there was no way you could have convinced me that this guy was just like some airhead like guy with no depth that like Devi just liked, because I think we're looking at it from different perspectives. I'm looking at it from a like Devi perspective as opposed to like them, because I feel like both of them are like decent people, but at the end of the day, like with Paxton and Devi, as much as like she influenced his life and everything, I actually do think that on his end, like you said, he's taking her a lot more seriously and he actually really likes her, because there's no reason for you to be with a junior. But on Devi's end, to me, it just feels very symbolic, and it just feels like, oh, like this thing that she really wants, not because of getting to know him as a person, but because she wants that status of, oh, I'm gonna hold hands with him and the whole way, and like we're gonna be together with I'm a popular person. Because I haven't seen any scenes where I'm like, yeah, David really appreciates this thing about Paxton's personality that, you know, she's really drawn to. It's always like, I'm with Paxton or am I not with Paxton? Like, it feels like that is really what she's concentrated on, which is why I'm just like, about it.
No, I get what you're saying. I will say, I've been saying this since season 1, and you get angry at me every time I say it. I think Ben is endgame. I hate it. I think that she's gonna end up with Ben or no one.
I think she's gonna end up alone.
I wouldn't mind her alone.
But you know what? Maybe Ben, maybe season 4 is going to be about her relationship with Ben, and maybe they're going to show us a lot more growth.
I don't even think they're going to date. I think they're going to like be casually hooking up, and it's going to be messy for everybody involved. But let's see. And apparently Paxton's still going to be in season 4. I'm really annoyed. Okay, I'm Team Paxton, but if Paxton is not going to end up with Devi, the end of season 3 was perfect. He's graduated. He believes in himself. Things are good. Let him go off to Arizona and live his best life. Don't bring him back to fight over a high school girl that is still gonna pick someone else. What kind of garbage nonsense? Ugh, I hate it.
Yeah, like Paxton is like, he can get anyone he wants. Apparently, I don't. I mean,
even in the show, grown adults are like, oh my god, that boy. And I'm just like,
and I feel like that's just a weird thing that Minnie puts in her shows every now and then. It's like adults thirsting for children, and it's a bit like cringy for me. Like, so please, if you're listening to this, I love you so much, but it's like it's not necessary. Like, it's not.
I will say, I think another reason I'm Team Paxton is because of season 3 when she was dating Nerdish.
Oh, that's his name?
Yeah. And her behavior there where she's like, oh, he's hot, he's popular, he's great. And a lot of her confidence came from the fact that she's like, he doesn't know what I'm like in school. So because she didn't have her own hang-up, she was able to be comfortable in the relationship. And I think what would be really, really good character development for Devi is the ability to see herself like that always. Like, to remove all her weird hang-ups about, oh, people think I'm a nerd and a dork. If she was able to be like, screw that, who cares? I think that would be really, really good character development for her. And that would be, to me, the thing that would make her relationship with Paxton work. Because even when he breaks up with her in season 3, it's because of like, I can't make you feel good about this relationship. I can't keep convincing you when it's you doubting yourself. So I think her being able to work through that would be great for her as a character.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, so
I agree with
that's
that.
part of it.
If she goes to therapy.
You mean if she listens to therapy? My girl is
Oh my
in
god,
therapy.
yeah, she is in therapy, stressing my girl.
But yeah, like I think I love that she got to date Nerdist because it was very much like, yeah, this is a hot, smart guy, and you know, Ben makes that joke about she's dating someone that's kind of like a mix of both of us. But I think it's good for her to date someone else and just kind of reflect what are my flaws in this relationship. But I don't even know if she'll pick up on that because that relationship ends because of his horrible mother, and I think that just kind of shadows everything else. But overall, in Team Paxton, I'm a resigned Team Paxton, knowing that he's not gonna win. She might end up single, but she's definitely not ending up with Paxton, which sucks. I think he's the better choice, but Mindy, you know, do you?
I am Team Ben, but to be honest, Mindy, we need more choices. We need better choices. Don't make me choose between these two.
You know what? I like it though. I'd rather have 2 flawed characters than 2 perfect ones. There's nothing worse than,
fair enough.
He saved my mother. Oh, he donated blood to children. Like, ew, gross. I hate it.
Yeah, but yeah, that's pretty much our thoughts.
Yeah, that's where we are. Season 4 is coming out hopefully next year, and we'll know what the answer is. We'll probably do at least one other Never Have I Ever episode, maybe more. We like the show and there's a lot to talk about. It's really good. Mindy Kaling is a fantastic writer. Like, everything she writes is just amazing.
It's amazing. I would watch anything she does, and I have watched everything that she has done.
But no, it's so good. I'm glad that it didn't get canceled. Streaming shows just be getting canceled out of nowhere for no reason.
They can't. Netflix can't do that.
But
do you know how many people stand the show? Netflix can't.
But I'm so excited about season 4 next year. I can't wait to see how things go. I hope Devi shows any growth. You know what?
I would accept anything.
You know what? She went a little bit better this season.
Yeah.
She showed some, so let me not be too bad. But it's great. I love everything, family dynamics, just kind of the exposition of what it's like to be an immigrant or a first generation American and dealing with that. Like, it's just so good. We're not going to get into it now because our main thing was Ben vs. Paxton. But you know, what are your thoughts? Who do you support? Who do you think should end up with Devi? Let us know. We want to hear.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching.
Yeah. See you on the next one.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.